Happy morning. Very nice day, weather-wise, and also mood-wise. We are all in the recovery phase. That is what going to be the. We're all already recovering from the COVID impact. So we're all in the recovery phase. Nice time. So happy to meet all of you. Thanks, Veltech. Thanks, Rajaram, for giving this opportunity. So just a few things before we get started. Since this is a virtual meeting, to just get a little bit better mood, better settings, I would request you, all of you, whomsoever in a position to turn on your video, not a mandatory, it's a request. If you can turn on your video, it would give you a little better motivation, better setting for this thing. And also, in terms of your layout, there is a setting for in the change layout. You can go to change layout. You can set the spotlight so that whomsoever speaking, you will get a much better view and connect with the speaker. So I would request if you can set it to spotlight setting so that you will get a better experience. And other one, unlike maybe other sessions, I don't have any very specific agenda. It's just a go more an experience sharing some of my thoughts. So I'm not going to keep anything in terms of a tempo or time. So if you have any questions, you can put your questions on the chat window. You don't have to wait for the end of the session. Anytime you can put chat window. Hope I would be able to track it. Otherwise, maybe I would request Veltech team to track and then stop me if there is a question in between. I'm okay to take questions. No problem. I just noticed that my name, I'm just connecting from my laptop. My name is showing a different name. That's my wife's name. Don't get alarmed. Just get a settings that Bhuma is equal to Jagannathan. That's it. Okay. So with that, I'm just get started with the session today. Hope you're able to see my screen. Am I?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, sure. I just took little bit of liberty, liberty only, to change the topic to managing to survive and thrive during a downturn rather than during a pandemic. I will also tell you why. See, the 2015 floods came is my personal experience as well. I'm sure many of you would have also seen it. So we were all scratching how to manage, and then as soon as the flood impact has gone, we have become business as usual. Then we started, we need to strengthen our resilience. We need to strengthen our business continuity, whatever it is. Then I myself drafted an excellent run book. I would say I was very satisfied for AGS Health. Exceedingly very detail oriented run book, SOP should how to face such a scenario, what is the preparations, etc. Very excellent run book. Then comes 2020 March. Suddenly we say lockdown. None of the thing in that run book would be useful because it's a completely different scenario, a completely different thing. Okay, so we have never thought about such a thing would come. We would not be able to travel to any other office. You would not be able to across India. Why India? Across the globe, you can't do anything. So the only option is work from home. But unfortunately, work from home was not a feasible option, or was not a recommended or thought, at least thought option at that time earlier before pandemic, because of various other perceived constraints. Not even I would say constraints, perceived constraints. So you never think about work from home as an option. So we don't build it in the. Suddenly one day you realized that it is not there at all. The whole run book is not of any great use to match that scenario. So, but luckily for us, we started thinking about it at least 10 days early before the lockdown was announced by Prime Minister. As soon as the situation started getting was we started thinking about it. Then we realized that the whole run book is may not be of much great use. So we quickly put in place a plan, and then subsequently managed to now from AGS almost about 5,500 staff are working from home, still working from home. Almost like 4,000 plus is still working from home. So we managed to do that. But still, what I'm saying is, then we have to update the run book to see that it takes care of these scenarios also. So why do we have to start thinking only manage to survive during a pandemic? We don't know. Next year, something else could come. Basically, what we are saying, manage, survive and thrive. What do we need to do during a difficult time? That is what going to be my topic today. Okay, so let me start with you to have some starting point. So let me start with a survey. It's a very interesting survey. It's called HSBC Navigator Survey, because you need some data points to make your points clear, make your observations clear. Okay, so it's a HSBC Navigator survey. So HSBC, apparently they keep doing this regularly. So when the pandemic comes, so they have commissioned this survey. It's of course done by a third party under the leadership of HSBC, initiative of HSBC. So they have surveyed about 2,600 business heads across 14 countries during the pandemic lockdown time. India was very much in the thick of lockdown during that time, 28 April to 12th May, between these 2 days. So there are different verticals and different countries, including China, India, US, Europe, etc. So it's fairly gives a picture of the whole global scenario. So what it says, the survey, some key salient points, it's available in the net. You can go through that. So 98, I'll just summarize some of the observations so that I can take it from there for further discussions. So that's the objective here. So 98% say that they have been impacted. Of course, we don't need, I'm not saying that we need a big survey report say that 98% of the business has been impacted by COVID-19 some way or the other. Okay, we would say that. And 3 out of 5, they think COVID-19 as the challenge. Okay, it's a short term how to survive the COVID impact. So that's what is the result. And 65%, this is a very interesting thing, they say that they have been agile and they have managing it. Okay, 98% has been impacted, but 65%, this is a global data. They have also published countrywide data also. 65%, they're saying that they're able to manage. Okay, then the important point I would stress on this later in the discussion. Technology and sustainability, these two are going to be the major trends, accelerating trends based on the COVID-19 impact. I don't know why sustainability comes, but that is also their part of the findings, very clearly evident in this HSBC Navigator report. Okay, supply chain is the third. This thing, supply chain rationalization, supply chain re-engineering is also going to be one of the major this thing. Then it also says, in the sense, that's what is the opinion of this 2,600 businesses across 14 countries. Resilience must be built into the business DNA, like what I'm saying. You don't think about only pandemic now and then 2 years down the line you get something else. We don't know what is it, and then you again start thinking what do we do. Okay, resilience has to be built as the basic essential ingredient of any business. That's what it says. So whatever the common understanding from this survey, okay, pulling through by pulling together. So this is collaboration is helped to a very, very large extent to survive this crisis. Collaboration with your customers, collaboration with your employees. There are very pointed questions on this. I'm not saying some generic funda or generic theory. It's a very clear pointed questions. You can get the complete report from the net. I would even recommend you, I would suggest you after you go back today, after the end of this session, just have a look at this report. It says very clearly that they're able to pull together the whatever the 65% they are saying they are managing it. They are able to pull together because of collaboration with customers, employees, other stakeholders, including your supply chain. Okay. Agility through a collaborative people first culture. Agility is very important. Technology has helped a great extent, and that's going to be that trend also. It's a very major finding for technology companies here, technology startups here. Sustainability again is a vital for resilience today and growth, and that's going to be one of the emerging trend, accelerating trend. They also, based on this report, people have come out with accelerating trends today that sees certain specific areas of technology and sustainability and supply chain as the major trends. Okay, suppliers. So that's what it. So just quick. I'm not going to go through the entire report, all the graphs, etc. Just very basic few ideas. Okay, so this is what is the impact level. It says so. I said 98% is impacted. Only 2% say that they have no impact at all. Just a 2%, or rather they have a better impact. I will come to that. There are certain companies who have really managed to grow their strength during the COVID-19. So they're all praying that they're all praying. For example, this Geo, Zoom, they're all praying now that this COVID impact should continue for a longer time. Okay, so 2% they are not at all impacted, but strong impact 46%. There's a very strong 26% big impact. Okay, some impact is 26%. But the point here is this is the global numbers. If you see the India numbers here, I don't know how many from India. India numbers here, almost 46% of Indian businesses, they felt very strongly impacted compared to 26% global. So impact is much higher in India. But what is interesting point is more than half, 54% of Indian business, they're saying that they were better prepared, they were able to manage it better, they were better agile compared to the global average. So this is the highest across, sorry, not the highest, higher than the global average, which is 45%. 54% they say that they are managing better, they were able to handle it much better. Okay, 29% they say that they are operating as normal, though there is an impact. That number seems to be a little confusing, but it's very clear. So though from India they say that the impact is higher, but the survey says that it's much better than the global average in terms of the manageability or agility or survivability. So 29% they say that they are operating as normal. This is the second highest, only behind China. China is little higher than this in terms of the all this from this HSBC Navigator report. 5% they say they have ceased operations, so that have not even been included in the report. This 100% doesn't include this 5. Okay, so this is a, so the point here, just 2 points I will take from this. There's the context, whatever we have discussed in terms of the numbers. Don't worry too much about the numbers. It's too many percentages, too much of percentage. But the point to drive is that there is an impact. It doesn't need, as I said, someone to come and do some research and tell us that there is an impact. There is an impact, big impact, but we are surviving. Agility is what is more important. Resilience is what helping. And from that perspective, Indian companies are doing much better than the global average in terms of resilience and agility. So what drives resilience, whether it is today or tomorrow, if any other situation like this comes, how do we ensure that we are better resilient than earlier? Okay. 55%, 50% is valuing the customers' resilience. This is again the survey findings. 49% is treating employees well. 49% opinion says that treating employees gives much better resilience. Don't ask me how, but this is what is the number I have seen. Then it must be true. Okay, just let us believe that you treat your employees well, you will become better resilient. That's what the this is what is the CEOs are saying. Adapting fast to external events, of course, we know that, and a strong balance sheet in terms of the financial. So 64% of the Indian businesses, this is again India numbers, see current environment ensuring positive changes to their products and services. Current environment, this has been done somewhere in July. So this current, when I say current, we'll have to take it as a July time period. Okay. So the time at that period, it's almost the end of the impact. So 64% they are saying that now it is the situation is positive rather than negative. There's no longer gloom. It's positive changes to the products and services. So this is the second highest across all markets surveyed, along with China, and significantly highest overall average at 44%. India average is again better here. Okay, so in terms of technology, I said technology is one of the major accelerating trend. So in terms of technology, in technology also, this is again just a little bit of clue. We will cover this in much better details. Clue in terms of what is driving resilience for technology as far as technology is concerned. Virtual internal and external meetings, of course, this Zooms, Teams, Google Apps, Google Meets, etc. Remote working, 37% say, and reducing office space. How do we automate, save on employees, save on seats, save on infrastructure? So that is 29%. 63% of businesses are preparing for future uncertainty by adopting technology or investing in innovation. So 63% of the business is again not technology companies alone, across different verticals. So 63, all the technology companies here, IT companies around here today, please make a note. 63% are saying that they are investing in technology. The future is by adopting technology. There is a business for you. Okay. So any question at this stage? If there is any, I would, I'm okay to take.
No, sir.
Okay, sure. So we'll continue.
Okay. I have posted a chat. I have posted a question on chat.
Oh, okay. That is why I'm not seeing
You want me
this.
to?
That's why
You want me to?
yeah, please.
No, from some quarters regarding MSMEs, there's alarming information saying that most of them will not survive this pandemic and all that. So does this survey cover the MSMEs also?
Yes, sir. Very much. They have said that what I have seen in the report, it is across verticals and across size also. So
Okay.
I don't know what percentage, but it covers MSMEs as well.
Okay. Thanks.
That's what the survey says. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll come to that. MSME is much impacted. I couldn't find any data point in terms of the percentage with respect to MSMEs, others, etc. But we'll come to that point also. Just remember if I miss that point. Okay, so top 5 characteristics of a resilient business. As I said, values customers, treats employees. Don't ask me how you become resilient. If you treat your employees well, it is there. Okay, treat employees well, you will become better resilient. Adapt fast to external events. Agility, that essentially means how soon, as I said, rather than waiting until you hear the news from TV that from tomorrow midnight, because unfortunately everything our PM announces, it starts from the midnight of that day. So don't wait for news come from TV that from tonight it's going to be a lockdown. Essentially means that when you get a hint of it, you get any sense of it, start planning. Agility. Okay, strong balance sheet, steady cash flow. This is what one of the thing what you asked also, sir. Basically, in terms of MSMEs, it's not just a question of MSME, or as long as your balance sheet is good, you are in a better position to be resilient. That's what. And this is very interesting point. Act sustainably. This again, I am, none of this is from my perspective. This is what has come out from the HSBC Navigator report. Act sustainably, you become more resilient, better resilient. So I don't know if any of you have a much better idea. I'm just pulling the data information, how sustainability is increasing your resiliency. There may be some sustainability experts here. I'm even okay to listen from them. How the sustainability is coming as a trend. I believe Rajaram said that you have some good sustainability experts here in Veltech TBI. Treating employees well and acting sustainably is increasing your resiliency.
Yeah, I would like to maybe talk about treating employees well. One of the common things people do is during the pandemic or during these kind of challenging circumstances, they come under pressure in terms of cash flow, right? You have your customers on time or dragging their feet. So you have receivables becoming like 90 days to 180 days to whatever. There is a whole lot of uncertainty in terms of money coming in. So typically what happens is this is the time when companies, they say, hey, employees, cut the salary by 50%,
True.
right?
Yeah.
So and various other I don't want to get into various details, but they simply pass on all the challenges back to the employees, right? Instead of this is the time to really take care of the employees, because they also undergo tremendous challenges. So typically companies pass on the entire burden on to employees. So obviously the employees will feel very challenged.
True.
So unlike the companies which have some cushion, who have a good balance sheet, a good all these years they enjoyed all this, and this is the time when employees have to be supported. So whereas the contra happens.
Correct.
So if you have disgruntled employees, and because you cut the salary, you've done something, so then naturally it reflects on the performance. Right?
Performance and also ability to survive.
Ability to survive, and also ability to rebound with the vigor.
Correct.
Right? So that definitely impacts. With respect to acting sustainably, see, here sustainability means multiple things. For example, if you are really sustainable operations, if you are using solar, you're using cost-effective stuff, and you are already having this kind of not burning the fossil fuel in terms of having all the employees coming to office, right? See, for example, the IT industry had it so well, because already there was 10% of staff who were working from home, right? There were such mechanisms, so they could easily adapt this to ensure that the other 80%, 90% are able to work from home, and still we achieve the objective. So it is not about measuring by your time spent in the office, more measuring by the outcome, what you create. So acting sustainability from the environment perspective, from the economics perspective, from social dimension, all of these definitely helps you to come back very strongly. For
True.
example, if you have been supporting your ecosystem well, then this is the time they also will really make some sacrifices, right?
True. True.
So all those practices definitely help.
Definitely. That is true. That is true. Okay. So I'll just carry forward. So in terms of impact, if you really see, as I said, not that everyone is impacted. There are even some case studies where people are growing their business during COVID naturally. So a little bit of in terms of high impact, high exposure, all of us know airlines, hospitality, travel, big impact. Okay. And of automobile, big impact. Moderate exposure, probably IT would come in that. Some manufacturing would come in that. Moderate impact. And low impact, low exposure, very limited. But the point is potential positive impact. There are even companies who have made a positive impact because of COVID. All the internet companies, some telecom sectors, retail, online, e-commerce, they're all minting money like anything. And your all this Zooms, Teams, etc. There are some very interesting positive impact case studies. Geo has been growing during their growth during the pandemic period is much higher than the regular growth. Your Zoom, so much so that you would have all seen the Zoom is this collaboration app. You must be knowing. So much so that there was news that when the vaccine was announced, Zoom shares started falling down in the market. Okay, of course, it's all grown during the pandemic, and when the vaccine was announced, it started. So they must be praying that the vaccine should fail, these companies. So to that extent. But here, Asian Paints, I just included Asian Paints also. How is paint coming into positive case study during COVID? Okay, but that's a very interesting point. Asian Paint is also there. Just no, block it there. We will come to that. Strongly negative, strongly positive, etc. Okay, Asian Paints. So of course, paint industry is also affected by COVID, but there's only one company in the paint industry. They say that they are surviving well, they are doing better, and they've also announced salary hike for their employees during the thick of the lockdown. Sometime in May or June, Asian Paints is coming out and saying that we are going to give a salary hike to our employees. When no, Rajaraman said, when everybody is thinking, do we do cut 50% cut? What do we do? So Asian Paint is saying that they are giving salary hike for their employees. No doubt that the paint industry, they also agreed, accepted that our paint business is not doing well. But what they did, so they have launched their hand sanitizer product called Vero Protec. When did they launch this? They launched it on 1st of May. 1st of May 2020, they are launching this product, new product, Vero Protec. So the idea is that when the lockdown come, they realize that more than the paint, the hand sanitizer is going to be the booming business, and we are very easily placed to quickly change our strategy and then bring out this as our product, because they had this brand called Royal Health Shield. It's been there for quite some time. I don't know from when. So it's basically, they say that it is a bacteria resistant paint. It removes all the bacteria in the surface wherever this paint is painted. So they had the necessary technology available with them. It's just that they are never into this business. So then they realized when the COVID-19 came, they realized that that's what going to be their business. So they have quickly launched. They have started producing the Vero Protec from Ankleshwar factory in Gujarat, one of the factory. they've changed, converted it into hand sanitizer and launched it quickly. When did the lockdown start? Lockdown started March 27th, and by May 1st, they have launched this product available in the market. Okay, so that is what is the agility, and that is what is converting challenges to opportunities. You have to have the mindset. It's a challenge, but there is an opportunity from the challenge. That's what Asian Paint has shown. So what the Ogilvy has created a video film for Vero Protect, saying taking care of every home. No, we are taking care of people living in those homes. Just the perspective has changed from home to the people. So that is what is the Vero Protect story, Asian Paints. So if opportunity doesn't lock, build a door, and that is what Asian Paints has done. Okay, don't keep waiting for when will the paint industry become okay, normal. When will I? What do I do? Okay, build a door. There is a new opportunity available. Okay, so this is what is the story of all these collaboration tools. You see, from March, everyone is rising. Everyone is rising. All this Teams, Zoom, WebEx, GoToMeeting, Slack, everything is rising from March 2020. So phenomenal rise. Okay, it's now plateauing now. It's making stable. Some who are better placed are able to rise better than others. Teams and Zoom. Teams is now outsmarting Zoom. But what I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to tell who is best or who is doing better. What I'm trying to say is that it's not that challenge. You have to see, like that's why, like Rajaram said, Indian government said that we would also encourage, if anyone of you is ready to come with a video app, why do we have to still depend only on Zoom or Google or WebEx? So that is where the opportunity, we have to just reorient our mind, our direction, and then we have to see this is what is the opportunity. So I said, I mentioned there are some accelerating trends. So this is what is coming out from many of the reports in terms of accelerating trends. The center of the core of the trend is in terms, definitely technology, digital transformation. The pandemic, work from home, lockdown has also encouraged this digital transformation in a large way, primarily in the areas of remote working, workplace automation, online services. Now everything has gone online. I believe now even I have seen, I have not experienced, I have seen that 3D printing is now available as a cloud model. Can you believe it? 3D printing can be done in a cloud. Okay, so everything has gone online now, and telehealth is also another digital opportunity. Telehealth, a lot of telehealth softwares are thriving now, and decline of retailing and moving to online. So this is the core of the trend, core of the accelerating trend. Now associated with that, there are trends in, of course, this sustainability, climate change, emission reductions, stakeholders, etc. And supply chain. Supply chain re-engineering is a definite thinking from the COVID-19 impact. How do we automate the supply chain in terms of supply chain resilience? How the technology come into that? So that is what is this interactions between these trends. The bubbles represent a particular area, and then the interactions between those areas. Okay, and in terms of integrated customer experience, social media, data analytics, this is in terms of a digital marketing trends, and how that interact with core digital transformation trends. So these are all the accelerating trends, courtesy specific, very specific. This is not something like no Gartner report in terms of 2019 trend, 2020 trend. This is a very specific courtesy COVID-19 impact. So these are all the trends. So these are all the areas where there is a business potential is there. Huge business potential, immense business potential. So just put the trends, map it across different areas, different verticals, healthcare, as I said, telemedicine, I'm practically seeing, I'm also experiencing in terms of the number of telehealth automation increasing. Manufacturing, of course, supply chain, as I said, supply chain automation would be the biggest trend. Real estate, e-commerce, that is be the, retail, e-commerce, real estate, multifamily homes, including co-working spaces, small co-working spaces. That's what is the trend, it says. Okay, because of this, avoiding long commute. And now there are only two options now, either work from office or work from home. Rather, a new segment is coming, work from neighborhood. That is what it says. Co-working spaces, even within an apartment area. That's what I have seen. A big apartment, they are now creating work from neighborhood spaces, co-working spaces. Okay, financial services, in terms of technology automation in financial services. So these are all the trends, emerging areas, business potential, huge business potential. Okay, so any doubt, any question with that? Because this is a little logical. Yeah.
There are a number of questions that have come out, but not exactly related to this slide. For example, some of the questions I see here, how do we retain customers during this pandemic?
Okay, that's what see, one of the trend, it says that customer focus is definitely a very important point for resiliency, high resiliency. That comes to the topmost, rather than you trying to see how your infrastructure is positioned, how your technology is positioned to do work from home or automate, digitize, etc. The customer is the first topmost factor in terms of resiliency, definitely. Now, how to retain your customer? Definitely the missing point is in terms of the human touch. That is going to be the missing point. So how do we augment whatever this missing in terms of human touch through technology? That is what the if you see the presentation, the accelerating customer experience. I'll just take to this customer experience. It is basically the integrated customer experience using your all digital channels, your email, chat, social media interactions. How do we enhance the customer experience? Because the physical touch is a constraint. Now, when there is a constraint, it's basically like if you are blind, your other senses would, that's a very, very natural science. If you're blind, a blind person would have a much better sense in terms of hearing or sense, touch sense, etc. So since this physical touch is constrained, now you see how your digital touch can be enhanced. You would really take the digital touch to the next level. That is what is the customer.
But in terms of suppose if the customers are having a demand problem, that is, they don't have cash. They don't, they have challenges in terms of uh, giving you orders.
Okay.
How do you still engage with
Okay.
them, manage or those?
Okay. I can tell you again, it's not any theory. I'm saying based on some of my experience and thinking itself. There are, of course, certain industries where the impact, say, for example, like an airline or hospitality, opportunity lost is an opportunity lost. Nothing can be done. Okay, if the travel business has come down by this much during this 4 months, that is an opportunity lost. But whereas in many other industries, it's a very few. Many other industries, say for example, IT industry, in my industry itself, if you take it, there is an impact, as the survey revealed. I'm also as one of the thing where it says that there is an impact. Okay, my company also there is an impact, but you realize it now. We are very largely realizing it. It is just a shift. It's just a postponement. We are largely depending on projects, new initiatives. Now, just that the new initiatives have stopped for some time. Now it started coming again. It's just the postponement of the initiative from no May project line timeline to December timeline, just a 6 months postponement. That's, we are practically seeing it happening also. Now, in fact, the next 4-5 months, that's what I keep saying whenever I discuss with any of my colleagues or the thing. The next 4-5 months, it's going to be more, you should be ready to be prepared to handle more in the next, more business in the next 4-5 months. It's just a shifting, just a postponement of, see, all these initiatives are definitely going to come. It's just that it is getting postponed, it's getting delayed. That's how you'll have to see it.
Okay.
That happens across maybe few industries, it would not apply, but across many other industries, it would happen.
Yeah, there is also another question relating to people.
Okay.
How do you encourage the teams to be positive, and also how to manage people in this situation? Because people may come back with several challenges in terms of mobility,
True,
they
true.
have issues in terms of COVID, and their insurance may not cover, right?
That is true. That is true. That is true. One of the biggest problem is, of course, when you are really now in a position to come back to normalcy. In certain industries, you can't avoid it. Even though you are managing using work from home and work from office, there is a significant difference in terms of doing business. But there are still many people, why can't I continue? I have also seeing, hearing it from multiple business owners, that why can't I continue? TCS is giving work from home, Infosys is giving, TCS is giving. That's a different story. Okay, whether it is relevant and whether it is possible. If it is possible, fine. If it is not possible, but the point is, rather than giving us a dictum, like what you said also, if you have to cut, there is no other opportunity, there is no other possibility, you have to survive. For surviving, you have to do certain adjustment. Take people into confidence. That's what I would say. Take your staff into confidence. Have a communication. Have a transparent communication. This is what is the scenario. This is why you need to be working from office rather than, or maybe we can have occasionally options to give work from home, but it is possible or it is not possible. Take people into confidence. Make them realize the purpose. This is my simple thing. Make them realize the purpose rather than giving no rules or giving dictums. Even if you have to do some cut, some adjustment, you have to make them realize why is it not, why can't it be managed otherwise? Why is it becoming essential, etc. That would help in a long way.
Okay.
Okay.
And, there are so many jobs have been lost.
Okay.
So, what is your view? Will these jobs come back? Will these get morphed into something else? Will the GDP growth be much higher than the previous years to compensate for all this loss? What is going to happen? Is a
Okay.
question.
This again, my thought process, my prediction, this is not from any data analysis. Of course, there would be some impact to the GDP because you lost about 4-5 months, but it wouldn't be like what you are thinking. Oh, everything is gone, everything is lost. This is, as I said, a lot of things are going to come even before, in this financial year, before this year end, March. Things are going to, it would be much more than that. Applies even to the jobs also. There are some jobs lost. There are data in terms of huge job loss in, especially in some industries like hospitality. So those industries, there would be some job loss definitely, but you should be ready to see how to make yourself acceptable, if you have to make certain changes in your skill set, if you have to change certain changes in your outlook, you have to be ready to make it. Opportunities will definitely come. There are certain industries where the opportunity is going to be much, much larger than what they are even envisaging themselves, even within the next 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, at least in retail, they call it revenge shopping. That people have been held back from physical shopping
Correct.
a long time. So they're going out and purchasing from the stores with a kind of high outflow.
Correct.
So things like that. What you are saying is there are a lot of positive indications of those happening.
Exactly. See, I have to live, I have to eat. Okay, I may little bit reduce my extra expenditure in terms of go on this thing, but I have to buy. Nothing will stop that. Okay, that same thing only. Maybe the shift will only happen instead of during the lockdown or post lockdown. It's because I'm getting used. Instead of going to an retail, I may shift some percentage of that to online. May happen, but the business is still there. It has to continue. The spending is still there. Right? So you just have to, that is what I think, you just have to think and reorient yourself to see what would be, which would make much better sense post COVID, and position yourself there.
Okay.
That
And
is what is any industry for that matter.
there are people saying that the large IT parks which are built, which are now unoccupied due to COVID. So will they get back into business again? Will there be demand for such spaces?
Okay.
There are questions.
Yes, sir. Sure. See, basically, there would be some dampener or some reduction in terms of office space, retail office space, because a lot of people are postponing, but still I'm seeing some companies are going forward. They're taking the risk, going forward and booking. We ourselves getting orders for some few new office spaces, but there would be some slow growth in that space. But I see that Casagrande is our customer. So I see that they are much more aggressive now in the last 2 months. If you see the number of ads coming in, they are more aggressive now than earlier, I would say. They also said, I had a discussion with them. They said it was very dull during the lockdown. Now, because it is dull, they have decided that they have to be double more aggressive now to make it. It's just the mindset you have to think. Now, how do we? So they have come out with just an analogy. They have come out that complete 360-degree online selection. So they have just, how do you adapt? Because the demand for home is going to be there, continuing to be there. It just, as I said, it just postponed by 3 months, 4 months. During that 3-4 months, nothing could be done. You can't go and see your flats, you can't select. So nothing was there, no business during that time. But people have to buy, people have to go into homes. So you can't, nothing will happen to that. That demand is there. Now, I am seeing that is what I'm understanding from their business model also. It would be in the now next 2-3 months, it will be much more than what was the last financial year for the third quarter. That is how the mindset has to think. How do you place, how do you position yourself to take that pie is what you have to think. So home buying, nothing is going to happen. It is going to only grow. Or rather, I would maybe I wouldn't say grow. It's going to sustain, and the whatever the lost during that 4-5 months would get compensated now.
Okay.
Okay, so this is more science now in terms of data, trend analysis, whatever I could think from my perspective, etc. Just another 5-10 minutes, 10 minutes in terms of now. Rajaram also said, no, I always like to definitely end with my. This has become my favorite topic now. Now from science to art, science to literature. So I'll just take from one each from English, Sanskrit, and Tamil, so that you get the idea in terms of how do we. So far, we have seen this industry, that industry, this trend. This is how we can position ourselves to survive and thrive. Why survive? Don't think survive. Rather, we can change the topic. Thrive post downturn. Okay, so first, how many of you have seen the movie Invictus? Any show of hand? Oh, of course, even video is very few only. Okay, so I can't see, I can't get a show of hand. Okay, so Invictus, beautiful movie. I would say if you've not seen it, I would even strongly recommend. It's a movie came in 2019 only, I think. So this is about Nelson Mandela, Mandela's sort of biography. Very beautifully done in terms of there are a lot of leadership lessons from this movie. So this is basically taken motivation from a poem called Invictus. That's a poem. In fact, Mandela is a big fan of this poem. That's why he keeps reciting this poem. So that's how they have taken it. So this is a poem by William Ernst Henley. The just a little bit of anecdote to that is this guy is a British person in 19th century. I think he lived in 19th century in London, Britain. Okay, so this guy has gone through, you can't imagine whatever difficulties possible in anyone's life. He was complete abject penury, poverty. He couldn't continue his school education, so he dropped out of school because he has to help his family. His father was, I think, just a bookseller or something like that. So he couldn't. He, in fact, in one of the exam, I remember that he not qualified, but he couldn't join because he had no money to continue his education, etc. On top of it, that's not the end of it. On top of it, he got affected by a disease, so his left leg, some Pott's disease. Okay, his left leg had to be amputated. One leg is gone, and now it started affecting his right leg also. Only one leg, and that also was affecting it. Luckily, one of the doctor, he did some path breaking at that time, some technology, and so made that made him to manage that leg. Okay, and so because of that, he had to be there in the hospital for 2 years. Things like you can't imagine all those things. So 2 years, guy is there in the hospital bed, something like 20s. Okay, and he writes this poetry. That he writes this poem. It's a very, very famous poem. There are many people who have quoted this poem in their life. Whenever they go through any difficult times, Nelson Mandela, he was there in prison for 18 years in um, what island it is, Robben Island or something. In that prison, it is something like a torture cell. Okay, some small cell. All this thing comes in that movie. Small cell, and you are made to work. He couldn't go and meet his family when his mother died. Gone through all kinds of troubles, you can say. Now, whenever he is down, he says that I used to recite this poem, I used to get my motivation. That's the kind of the thing. Franklin Roosevelt, US president, he says that he used to, whenever he's down in feeling motivation, he used to see this poem and then get his motivation. So it says that I'm the master of my fate. I'm the captain of my soul. I keep hearing, what I'm saying here is, I keep hearing people, oh, pandemic, this is gone, that is gone, my salary is gone, my job is gone. What is government doing? I hear that some no incentive is announced, but nothing has come to me. This money is there, that coffer is there, but nothing is reaching me, etc. So why do you have to wait for the government to do something? You are the master of your fate. You take charge of your life. When would you start taking charge of your life? There is a problem, fine, but you have everything within you to take care of that problem. Any problem for that matter, you have everything in your capability. Okay, nothing big problem than what Nelson Mandela has gone through. Nothing big problem than William Ernst Henley has gone through. Okay, they have survived. He has written a beautiful poem like this based on his problems. Okay, experience from his problems. Nelson Mandela ruled that country because he survived the torture for 18 years. Okay, so everything is within you. You are the master of your fate. You are the captain of your ship. Okay, so that is what is Invictus. I would strongly recommend, if you guys can get a copy, it's available YouTube free. I have seen it in free YouTube version only. Normally I don't go to movie halls nowadays much, so you can see that. Okay, so this is Invictus. Now just fast forward to Ramayana. Ramayana also says the same thing. You'd be surprised where is it coming in Ramayana. The first one is quoted by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his second, I think, second COVID speech. He has quoted this. He just quoted this. We will take a little bit more than from that. This comes in first Sargam of Kishkinda Kantam. If you see the context perspective, so Rama lost Sita. You know how much they love each other. I don't need to waste time to explain that, because it's only one wife and only one husband, of course. So they love each other. So this first Saragam, almost like 100 poems in terms of Rama's grief. He sits on the banks of this river. I think it's Sarayu River, not Sarayu River. Okay, some river. He sits on the banks of the river and then keeps grieving. Oh, if Sita is there, how would be better? I lost Sita. What do I do? 100 poems. Valmiki also very beautifully explains. This is very beautiful, but what to do? Like that. Okay, so 100 poems, and then 121th poem in that Saragam, it starts, Kishkinda starts like this only. So Lakshmana comes and tells Rama, what is the point? You keep for how many days, how many poems you keep grieving? What is going to happen? Nothing is going to happen. Okay, he says, Utsaho Balwan, Nasti Utsahat Param Balam. There is no strength in this world other than better than enthusiasm, zeal, whatever. There is no direct translation of Utsah. You can, Utsah is Utsah only. Okay. So you can take like a zeal or extreme enthusiasm. There is, come out of this grief, get into action. That's what simply it says. Come out of this, get into action. There is nothing, no strength other than, better than enthusiasm, zeal, your energy, your motivation. Nothing better than that. However strong any person, this extreme zeal will outbeat him. Okay, nothing is impossible to attain in this word. Utsahasya ki lokeshu na kinchit api durlabha. Durlabha means nothing is unattainable. Kinchit api durlabham. It is actually wrong. It's, I think, okay. Durlabham means attainable, impossible to attain. Nothing is impossible if you have enthusiasm. So whether it is COVID, whether it is anything else, all you need, you don't worry about anything. All you require is a mindset that nothing is lost, nothing is gone, everything is there, everything is very much there. All required is a mindset that I am enthusiastic. I have the wherewithals within me. I have the things. It is my company, it is my life, and it is my country. I have everything within me to to come out of this and getting into act.
That is, this too shall pass, kind of message.
So the next one is little bit, the thing it says, enthusiastic people never get disheartened. They never get disheartened. What come, what to. In this it is, Rama is the God omnipotent. Krishna is a incarnation of Adisheshan, who is a servant to God. Okay, but Lakshmana comes and tells Rama. It doesn't mean that Rama doesn't know. It's just an symbolic representation. That it doesn't mean that Rama is nothing. He doesn't know anything. Lakshmana has to come and motivate him. He knows it. It's just a symbolic representation. Anything can happen to anybody. That's a life. That is what is the natural ingredient of any life. Positive will happen. Negative will happen. One day it would be negative, one day it would be positive. Anybody, incarnate, Rama has always maintained that is the incarnation of a normal human being. Anything a human being has to go through in life. This is a natural trend. It's a natural thing. You have to go through difficulties. You have to COVID to survive a pandemic. You have to do lockdown. You have to do business in spite of lockdown. It's a natural thing for anybody. It's not just for you and me alone. It's for everybody. And that is the symbolic representation there. Okay, and you have to listen to anybody. Doesn't matter whether it is Lakshmana or anybody. You have to listen to, and he listened. And after 120 things of grieving, after that he is never grieved. Okay, so that is what is the idea. So this is last one from Tamil. Favorite Kural, okay, English, Sanskrit, and now Tamil. So Idumbai ki Idumbai. Beautiful thing is that the entire 7 words, in that 4 words are only. There is only 3. The other one is also exactly sounding. So nobody can write like this. The 4 words are just one single the thing Idumbai. So it basically means Idumbai means hardship, difficulties. So if you get difficulties, anybody can get difficulties. If you get difficulties, Thiruvalluvar says, you create difficulty for the difficulty. That's it. If there is a difficulty, if there is a difficult person, you create difficult to that difficulty. So you don't, you have nothing to worry about it. You have to have the confidence that you can create difficulty to that difficulty. That's it. Then you will not feel the effects of the difficulty. So that is the thing. Is just so that on finishing note, this is what is the what Rajaram mentioned, management immemorial. This is more like whatever I said, whether it is Invictus, Ramayana, or Bhagavad Gita, or Kural, or the thing. Basically, from literature, in terms of some thought process, um, some motivation from literature. So the second one, as I said, it's going to be available. I'm expecting to do it by December or January, depending on how much I'm able to spend. This is basically a story. Basically, grandma comes because there's basically grandma stories. So that is what is the idea. Grandma stories. It's a story within stories. It's a corporate story within which grandma stories will be used as anecdotes. That is what is the thing. So doesn't matter 3 months, 4 months, as long as you have that motivation, you have that energy, you have that enthusiasm, anything can be done. Things are there for better only now. It is going for the better, definitely. So with that, I would finish. Just quick, the thing, just 2 minutes if I'm allowed. So this is what is my company. We are into primarily into IT and InfoSec. We do IT infrastructure, primarily projects, not much into software, primarily IT project. That's what I said. We have also seen downturn. It's not that we have not But now I'm saying that I'm very confident that whatever you lost in the 3-4 months, we would get it now in the next 4-5 months. That much I'm very, very confident, and we are working towards that with that thinking. Okay. Thank you. Any question if there is a time?
Yeah, I see a couple of questions in chat. One person has written,
Or any
why
opinion, feedback, anything to share?
Jagan, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, there is a
I'm
question
able
in
to.
the chat which says, why only a few engineers getting jobs? Every year, totally 1,58,462 people are coming out from college in Tamil Nadu, engineering colleges. Why not getting jobs?
Whomsoever different survival of the fittest, whomsoever positioning themselves for enriching themselves to be suitable for job or getting job. See, this is a simple thing. Your supply keeps increasing. Definitely every year you keep increasing the um, output of number of engineers. So the demand also increasing, but it is not catching up with the supply. So naturally, there is a gap. Okay, that is one point. Second point is I know for sure based on my experience in Futurecalls or in AGS Health, whenever you need also you are not getting quality. There are both are there. There is a gap is there. There are people who are struggling without job, but people companies are also struggling sometimes at times when there are projects are there, struggling to get quality people. It's just that you're not able to meet both. So the it's not that jobs are not there. Jobs are there also. Every company, IT company, this is the biggest challenge for HR guys to get the people also. So both are there. It's just that you have to meet both. You have to people have to engineers have to think that they have to make themselves um, ready, make themselves eligible, ready to get the jobs. That requires a little bit of additional thinking.
Yeah, so there is a simple explanation for luck. Right? Luck is the meeting point of your alertness and the opportunities passing by. Right? So people have to tune their skills to what
True.
the need of the hour and be marketable. Okay, good point. So there is another question. It says tough times don't last.
That is true.
Tough times don't last, but tough people do. So viewing the COVID-19 pandemic as a tough time, how can the soft and feeble lot build up on toughness?
Yeah.
This is a question, Jagan.
Okay. Okay, good thing. Two things. Yeah, two things in that. Very, very no interesting observation. That is true. Tough time don't last, but tough people do last. Definitely. It's just that you have to be tough enough to meet that challenge. That's it. Okay. Now, how can the soft and feeble lot build on toughness? Okay. Toughness, I think there's a little bit confusion here. Here, soft and tough time both are getting intermixed. Okay, doesn't mean it's always. I keep putting it in my the thing also. Soft people are cannot do well, or soft people would always laggards, or soft people are behind. Humility, in fact, humility is greatest trait of leadership. Humility is the biggest softness, whatever you call it. Soft and tough there doesn't mean that handling tough things and not able to handle tough things. It is humility is the greatest trait. You have umpteen practical examples. Humility, people with humility can achieve anything. Mahatma Gandhi is the biggest example. He's been so soft, he's been humble, he is so humble, but he did whatever he wanted. He never left anything he he wanted to do, even if it is like making the government to kneel. He never done anything tough, but he knows how to get his job done. Okay, so doesn't mean that a humble or soft person cannot achieve. It's a misnomer. Okay, toughness is only in terms of handling tougher things. Doesn't mean that you have to be tough to external environment, or tough to people, or tough to the world. Doesn't Typical example is Gandhi only. He is so tough. He cannot come out. If he decides something, he can't do anything about it. It has to be done. He knows how to get it done, but he knows how to be humble and get it done also.
Yeah. One last question.
So you have to
So
build toughness. Yeah, you have to build toughness to handle things. Toughness. Yeah.
Yeah. One last question.
Yes, please.
How to start a business without money?
um, I think maybe you are the better person to answer that, because you know, yeah, you know that very well. In terms of scenario, of course, without money, only I will just say a few the thing. Without anything, you can't start, but doesn't mean that money is the an entrepreneur. That is the difference between an entrepreneur and a manager. This has been told by somebody, I don't remember. Okay, there is a, I think Steve Jobs or somebody. There is a difference. Entrepreneur sees whatever the limited thing, but he doesn't get limited by the resources. He just gets limited by his vision only. So an entrepreneur sees whatever the limited, there has to be some resources, but whatever the resources, limited resources, including money or whatever it is, how could that be? Vision can be achieved. It's limited only by the vision, not by the resources. Using the limited resources, there are umpteen opportunities with, of course, Rajaram is the best to explain that. But don't get limited by the resources as an entrepreneur. That's the biggest strength or trait of an entrepreneur. He doesn't see the resources. He doesn't count the resources. Or he or she. Why should I be blamed for this thing? An entrepreneur doesn't count the resources, doesn't even look at the resources as the limitation.
Mr. Jagannath, you wanted me to remind you about the MSMEs. You wanted to.
Correct. So I just wanted to quickly just tell, of course, MSMEs are the biggest impact, because if you really see that, take the percentage, people who are able to survive, have that good balance sheet, because they would be able to 3 months, 4 months, they would be able to sustain, and then they can make the compensate. But MSMEs, of course, many of the MSMEs might find it difficult. To that extent, MSME would be more affected, but doesn't mean that all MSMEs are suffering. It's just a question of how agility, how resilient you are. MSMEs, we are an MSME only. We have survived, and I'm very confident that we would make up make up for whatever lost also within this financial year itself. So we are very much an MSME only. So it's just a question of how agile you are, how you are able to see, even if it is MSME. It's just a question of a little bit, that one of the factor is that strong financial statement. So you have to have some financial stability in terms of survive that. That is sufficient. That's enough. So MSMEs definitely can